But I would say, like, we've mainly talking about Ethan Hawke, but I would say every actor in this one hits it out of the park.
Yeah.
Haha, because they play baseball. It's whatever. The kid who plays Finney, the kid who plays the sister, which at first I was like, she's a little bit annoying. But then, towards the middle of the movie, she really, when she kind of becomes more of the focus for a while, she like really gets into it. I think she's really good.
And we also kind of have a reason for her to be sort of annoying at points.
Yeah, she's the little
sister.
Little sister.
She believes...
And as someone who grew up with a little sister, it can be very annoying. Hello, and welcome back to the spoilerCast, the show where we talk about movies and we don't care about spoiling them because it is the spoilerCast. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusted co-host, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello. Today, we're talking about a movie, a brand new one. We're talking about the Black Phone. Yes. Written and directed by Scott Derrickson. No? Yes.
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 We
Based
also
on a short story by Joe Hill, a.k.a. Stephen King's son. Which is kind of funny. I can't understand why he doesn't want to use his real name. Or maybe Joe Hill is his real name,
I think it is his official name now, but he changed it at one point. I read that somewhere.
Because if you're gonna write horror stories, you might not want to be associated with Stephen King. I mean,
it'll just be nepotism.
Yeah, exactly. In a way you want to, but in another way you don't want to, because it's gonna you're gonna be accused of nepotism. Yeah. But everyone
we should also mention that screenplay is also by a C. Robert Cargill.
Oh, right.
So he had some help.
Yeah.
Which I think they've worked together before.
Yes, I know.
On Sinister.
Right. And the story it's pretty simple. It takes place in 1978, right?
1970 something, at least.
And a small community is rocked by a series of kidnappings by someone who they've named or nicknamed the Grabber, which, by the way, it's a terrible name.
Well, he grabs kids.
Yeah.
Off the street. So. Yeah.
And we followed these two siblings called what are the names?
Finney and Gwenny. Finn and Gwen, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or Gwendolyn, I don't know.
Gwen. Pretty sure it's her, her nickname, Gwen.
Yeah. Yeah, Finney and Gwen.
Yeah. And as we've all seen in the trailer, Finn gets he gets grabbed by the Grabber. Yeah. And he gets put in this basement where there is a phone, a black phone. That is
disconnected black phone.
Yeah, seemingly disconnected.
But someone calls him.
Someone keeps calling, yeah. And that's the setup from the trailer. Gotta say, like, we will keep, like we usually do when it's a new movie, we'll keep it vague in the beginning, and then we'll go full spoilers if we have to. But we'll give you a spoiler warning here at the spoilerCast, of course. But just to start off, like we usually do, what did you think of the movie?
I was kind of, when we were watching it, I mean, I was entertained, but at the same time I felt like there's something missing. I couldn't really put my finger on it though.
Yeah,
I've been trying to figure it out now, because we watched the movie a couple of days ago now.
Yeah.
I still can't really
it premiered here in the on the 22nd, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we saw it slightly before a lot of other countries, but we're not recording until today, Saturday the 25th.
Technically, it was released in 2021 in festivals in America.
Well, sure, yeah, but for general audiences,
Yeah, most countries had it in June 22nd.
Yeah.
Or 23rd.
Anyway.
Sort of. Something is off, something is missing. It might be the fact that I'm still so over the 70s trope. I don't care about movies being done in the 70s.
That was my first. I mean, I knew it took place like from the trailers. You knew it was like 70s or 80s something. But I didn't really think of that until we actually sat down and they started playing. I don't remember the first song they were playing, but it was just like, oh, this is so 70s.
I mean, you have the
suburbs. They're all playing, Little League Baseball. Rebecca's gotta hate this.
Yeah.
I'm thinking was the first thing I thought.
And again, like I said before, I understand why you put it in the 70s. It's close enough to be kind of creepy, because, like, oh, my parents lived during that time. But it's also far enough to not be technologically advanced, where cell phones can ruin, like, the trope or the setting. But
exactly, and it's the
done.
time in when the director grew up,
Yes.
That's why they keep doing this, the 70s nostalgia is coming.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already had 70s nostalgia, we've had 80s nostalgia, we're kind of into 90s nostalgia, but I'm glad we're going back to 70s nostalgia. I like the 70s. It's my favorite decade. The 70s or the 50s, I would say.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of over it. It worked in this one, though, because it's not... Even though it's very obvious with the clothing and the music choice, it's not so obvious with everything else around, because it does take place mostly with Finney and his situation in the basement.
Yes.
So, I mean, you're not really influenced by all the other outside things. That, oh, of course he doesn't have a cell phone. He's been kidnapped. Like,
right. It's
stuff like that doesn't... it's fine.
It's kind of timeless.
Yeah.
It could, with a few adjustments, it could take place today.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do like it. I did appreciate it, because there are some things in it that are fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And there are a few things that are like meh, but you can kind of overlook them because they're not a lot, and most of them are probably just preference.
Yeah. Yeah, I was also a little torn at first. Like I loved it, but I also I thought just like something feels a little off, or something's missing, something. And I think I figured out, at least for me, it might not be the same for you. But what I think it is that it's such a well-made movie, but the concept, like the premise of the movie, in the hands of a lesser director and writer, this would have been a real C-grade trash, slasher horror movie. It would have been
that's true.
A garbage dumpster fire. Because it's just, ooh, creepy killer with a mask, killing children.
Yeah, the premise is kind of something that a high school student would make for a movie project.
Yeah, like the concept is super basic.
Yeah.
And we've seen it 100 times in terrible low-budget movies released on Amazon Prime,
Yeah.
Shot with a cheap-ass camera, with terrible actors, and it's just like, oh, we got a creepy mask, that means we got an entire movie on our hands. Like, no, you don't. You're garbage. This, however, is done by Scott Derrickson, who, he doesn't have, like, a perfect track record, but he's a good director who has done quality work before.
Specifically
say what
in
you
horror.
will about... Yeah, say what you will about... Deliver Us from Evil and the kind of weird juxtaposition between cop procedural and horror movie. It works. Like, he knows what he's doing. Even something. I mean, it's similar to Sinister. Too many CCC. Sinister is like, in the hands of a lesser director, that would have been a real B tier movie. But he handles it, with skill and grace, and makes that movie much more interesting than it should be, I think.
Yeah, no, I don't remember much of it. I have seen Sinister, but it's been years.
It's been a while for me as well. Yeah, but I mean, it came out in the wake of like Insidious and The Conjuring. You know, when ghost stories were becoming popular again.
I didn't watch it then, though. I watched it years later, but
I saw it a couple of years later when it was out on like streaming, but it was out pretty early on streaming, so. And it's just, you know, it's a jump scare movie. But I think he both wrote and directed that one, he added in, you know, real characters. You know, they felt interesting. There was an actual story. It was not just cheap thrills.
Yeah.
And it's the same here. Like I said, this could easily have been just a cheap jump scare movie, but he adds in all this character development. And, you know, he has good actors portray the characters, which just makes it good.
Yeah.
I actually didn't write this down on Letterboxd yet, because I wasn't sure how to formulate it, because my initial thought was to like say like, this is like a really, really well made movie, but it's and if the subject matter was more important, it would have been a masterpiece. But that's not really fair. But you know what I mean?
No,
like,
no, I know what you mean.
It's just a movie about a guy and a kid. There's no like huge emotional revelations or anything. You know what I mean?
Yes, there is. That's one of the things I kind of miss in this movie, and considering it's only an hour 40 long, which is wonderful. First of all wonderful.
Uh-huh.
But I actually think they could have added a few minutes to develop certain characters slightly.
Yes, I agree.
The grabber is supposed to be very mystical, obviously. You're not supposed to know who he is. Mysterious.
Yeah.
But I feel like we could have added like one detail about him that would make it more for us to kind of understand who he is more than for the people in the movie.
Yeah.
Because now we have literally no idea who he is or reasoning.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. But I think this movie is not about the grabber at all.
It's not.
It's literally all about Finney and and his sister.
Though I feel like Finney could have had certain details added too. We do get to know about his life and stuff, but we don't get to know him too much as a person because he doesn't react to things properly or enough, I suppose. Like, this isn't spoiling anything. When he first gets grabbed, when he wakes up and he realizes, oh, I'm kidnapped.
Yeah. Spoilers, he gets kidnapped.
Oh, know that from the trailer, so.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
His initial reaction is very calm.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
He freaks out when the phone rings, obviously, because that's even freakier. But he's still very calm throughout most of it.
Yeah, but there is the point where, you know, he seems to be in shock.
Sure.
Because the grabber's there the first time he wakes up. And after that, he's kind of in a fugue state until he tries to escape, obviously. Once again, no spoilers here. And there is that one point where he thinks he's actually going to get away, and then, you know, he hits another wall, so to speak, and then he just completely breaks down. Like, I think he was kind of in shock. It was in a fugue state until, you know, he hit that next brick wall, so to speak, and it's just like,
I suppose.
No, wait. It kind of sets in, and he just completely breaks down.
I guess I'm just so used to, normally in movies, you see the person who gets kidnapped or put in this dangerous situation, they freak out the first thing they do.
Yeah.
But I don't know which one is more realistic. That's just what I'm used to.
Yeah, but I also think that works better with his character, since when he talks to, which we find out later, yeah, a lot of, well, not a lot of, but some of his character development is given in like exposition dump towards the end.
Yes.
When he talks to one of his friends at school, but he talks over the phone. Anyway, I don't want to say too much. And they kind of, because we've seen it, they've shown it that he is kind of passive. He goes through life without really getting involved. Which makes sense with what's going on in his life, like because of his situation at home and in school, like he doesn't want to. He's kind of a wallflower.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get in trouble, so he doesn't do anything. But that just makes other people want to maybe hunt him
with him more.
Yeah, or mess with him.
Yeah, and it's also. I was gonna say it's. I think that's why the grabber picks him, but the grabber seemed to just grab any kid.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if they're timid or if they're violent. Or he just grabs them.
Well, he grabs boys specifically.
Well, sure, yeah. Which
I guess has something to say about his character.
Yeah. They don't specifically go into that detail, but I'm sure.
I think it has to do with his past more. That him kidnapping boys has to do with his kidnapping himself, I suppose, as a child to perhaps protect himself or punish himself for something he did. That's just my psychological evaluation from completely not valid person here.
and from not a lot of detail in the movie.
Yes. Well, I saw like a 4-minute clip of Ethan Hawke talking about like behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, okay.
Just before this, I found it on YouTube. And he doesn't have a lot to go on in the script. There isn't a lot to say about his character either. So he kind of winged it. He's like, well, a person who does this kind of stuff obviously have some sort of trauma.
They have baggage, yeah.
Yeah, the tormentor has usually previously been the tormented.
Yeah.
Somehow.
If you want a crash course in past trauma in forming you as a kidnapper/killer, check out the Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yeah. So that's what he based it on, and I can understand that. That makes sense, so to speak.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even specific scenarios he put up in the kidnapping is very specific, and could actually be a proper reacting of stuff he has actually gone through.
Yeah. And I was just gonna say, it was good you brought up Ethan Hawke talking behind the scenes. Let's talk about Ethan Hawke. About Ethan Hawke. I most recently saw him in the Moon Knight. He played the villain or the bad guy or whatever. I just saw the first episode.
I haven't seen anything of that, so I don't.
That's fair. This is just, since it's the spoilerCast, we gotta shit a little bit on Disney and the MCU. And Ethan Hawke, I think we both like him as an actor.
Oh yeah, he's great.
He's great in everything he does, basically. Basically, yeah. But as the villain guy in the Moon Knight, he is so stiff. I mean, I'm sure that's part of the character, but he's stiff.
That's probably more the script.
Yeah, it's an uninteresting character. And then he shows up in this little, $40 million movie that came out of nowhere, basically. He has almost nothing to do in the movie, since he's more of a presence than actually, in the scenes. He's not in that many scenes.
Also, his face is always partially covered by a stone mask, basically.
Yeah. And he is so creepy.
Oh, yes.
So gross. Just the way he talks to Finney is so disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
And his voice, I mean, everything. Ethan Hawke is he's like an acting treasure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad he keeps making movies and hasn't. I'm sure he would like to be in bigger projects, more than he is. But I'm so glad
he does have. He has one completed project already. He has 2 in post-production, 3 in post-production. He is filming 1 and 1 in pre-production, so he's working. I mean that he hasn't gotten
ensnared by Disney or Marvel or, any of the big companies like that. And he is, he has the chance to do movies like this instead.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so happy about that. Because he's great as the grabber.
He's great as most things. But the
yes,
grabber specifically is a character that it. Not that I would imagine it, but it does fit him very well. He gets to, I guess, explore his darker side.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been a villain too much before.
No, I think he mostly plays, like the protagonist, the hero, sort of.
Yeah. He did say in that
what's it called, Training Day. I guess he's more of an anti-hero, maybe, but
He did say in that behind the scenes clip I saw that he's over 50 now. He's like, I'm ready to turn to the dark side, sort of.
yeah.
I'm excited to explore being a villain more.
Yeah.
I don't think he phrased it like that, but something like that.
Yeah,
that's what he meant. Yeah. And specifically though, with the grabber, he is acting mostly with body language and voice acting.
Voice acting, yeah.
And sometimes eyes, obviously.
Yeah.
But much like, because we mentioned that, but I think it's a long time ago. We talked about it a lot, like, privately, so to speak, not on the podcast. When, oh my god, what's his name? The guy who plays Bane?
Oh, Tom Hardy?
Yes, Tom Hardy. When he played Bane,
yes.
we discussed his acting abilities, that using only half his face, not even that, barely half his face, and just his voice, made such an impact.
Yes.
This is the same level, if not better.
Well,
I mean, this one has more.
Tom Hardy has more to do in that
probably.
movie. Yeah. But yeah, it's the same style. Like, he has to work with his voice and his eyes. He doesn't have his full face, so he has to exaggerate what he has to work with. Yeah, and
the grabber does use
great.
more body language though than Bane does.
Well, he's very physical. Bane is very physical.
Yeah, physical in that sense. He's very fight. The grabber is kind of theatrical.
Yeah, sure. I know
his body movements.
Yeah. But I would say, like, we've mainly talking about Ethan Hawke, but I would say every actor in this one hits it out of the park.
Yeah.
Haha, because they play baseball. It's whatever. The kid who plays Finney, the kid who plays the sister, which at first I was like, she's a little bit annoying. But then, towards the middle of the movie, she really, when she kind of becomes more of the focus for a while, she really gets into it. I think she's really good.
And we also kind of have a reason for her to be sort of annoying at points.
Yeah, she's the little sister.
Little sister. She believes...
And as someone who grew up with a little sister, that can be very annoying.
But I mean, she also has we only know that their mother killed herself. Like, that's not a big thing. Yeah. That's only mentioned in passing. Yeah, it's just a small detail they mention, but it once again informs a lot of the characters. Yes, all three of that family nucleus. It explains their characters more because Finney is perhaps a bit withdrawn and quiet because his mother is gone, and because of how his father treats them after that experience. Yeah, and she. I mean, kind of the same. She reacts opposite, though, because of her personality in general, but then it's exaggerated by the fact that their mother is gone and their father is acting the way he does. Yes. So it makes sense, sort of. But do you have their names? I didn't... Yes. The boy playing Finney is Mason Thames, and the girl playing Gwen is Madeleine McGraw. Madeleine McGraw has actually done a few things before this. While Mason Thames hasn't done a lot. Yeah. I mean, she's had smaller roles because she's not old. She is... she was born in 2008. Oh. So she's 12... 14? Yeah, 14. But she's been in 27 things. Jesus. Oh, including two completed in post-production that hasn't premiered yet. Oh, okay. Captain Tsunami's Army, yeah. But we talked about that
Mason Thames.
Thames.
He looks a lot like a young Ethan Hawke.
Yes.
But there is no relationship, right? No relations.
That I know of. No, I don't think so.
No. Damn it. I was like,
I mean,
is
there's
this
not a lot
nepotism? Did they hire his son? But no, it's not his son.
No. I don't think... Does Ethan Hawke have a son? I know he has a daughter.
I don't know, actually.
There's not a lot of info on Mason Thames in general, to be honest, on his IMDb.
No.
And he's only been in 6 things, including a post-production that's not premiered yet.
Yeah.
This was his, first and proper big thing.
Yeah, it's his first movie. But it didn't say introducing, did it?
No.
Because usually it says introducing when it's the first movie credit you get.
Maybe they didn't wanna. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, he was great.
He was.
And then, of course, the father, played by Jeremy Davies.
Yes.
Once again, didn't have a lot to do. He
and he's a terrible character, personality-wise. The guy he's playing is horrible. But the few times we see him, we get in the beginning, we have the I suppose, over-loving, protective father that goes a bit too far with protecting his children. And then towards the end, he does accept things and change slightly.
Yes.
So even, a terrible and almost non-important side character does have a character development. Which I like.
Well, he's very important to inform the characters of Finney and
Gwen,
right, on how they act and why their bond is so strong as siblings.
Yes.
Without saying too much, but I guess you can guess what he's an abusive father.
Yeah, obviously.
Figure. Yeah. And I do like that he's not completely two-dimensional, even though we don't see too much of him. He's not just, I'm the evil father character who drinks beer and beats my children.
Because sometimes you get those
terrible as it sounds,
characters.
there's a reason for it. If that makes any sense, And there is,
if you watch the movie.
Yeah, if you watch the movie. We're not condoning beating children. Please don't.
For this story's sake, as it is just a story, it makes sense.
Exactly. It makes sense. That's a weird way to put it. But,
it does.
It does. Once again, that might be where, I would also prefer if we got a little more with him as a character.
Yes.
Because you
At
can
least
definitely
we got more than we normally do with that kind of character.
Yeah, exactly, because he has more than just, I'm angry and drunk and I beat my children. There's more there.
Yeah, there's not just that 1 or 2 scene where he's the bad father and then we don't see him again because...
Exactly.
I don't know, the cops saved him or something.
Exactly. And there's the whole thing with, why the mother is gone and how that has affected the children and him in different ways. It's interesting, and that's we should also mention that the first at least 45 minutes, if not more, all takes place before the Finney's kidnapping, and it's all pretty much character building.
See, I did not even think about how much time passed during certain moments, because the later half, I suppose, in the basement does take up so much room, so that feels like that's the entire movie. But yeah, you're right, there is a lot of character development before that. Yeah, and that's once again why this felt more like a 70s movie. It felt more like a horror movie of a bygone era, where it's not just, we need a scary cold open, and then we need some jump scares, and then 20 minutes in he gets kidnapped, and then it's gonna be it's gonna be hostile where he has to cut his arm off to get out. No, it's a family drama. They're not in high school. They're in they're in school, whatever it's called in America.
Yeah, it's like a family drama for a while. And then it turns into a horror movie.
It's even you get the community involved in everything. You see a lot of everyone else's reactions to things.
Yeah.
To the events.
Do you know what it kind of reminds you of?
No.
A Stephen King book.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to that. And you can definitely tell, not just by like general sense, even certain details are very, oh, you sure you're not Stephen King?
Yeah, like, hey, Joe Hill, you probably read a few of your dad's books, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you know...
You guys discuss theories and plots?
Yeah, there's a lot of it in there because of all the character development for the children and everything.
There's even one specific shot that is straight out of it. It's just a few seconds, and it's in I think it's like flashback or a dream sequence or something. When the grabber just stands in the front yard holding a bunch of balloons.
Oh right, yeah, that's very reminiscent of the modern It movies. Yeah, yeah, sure.
I think they even like zoomed in almost exactly the same, and then he starts laughing.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure, but it feels like it's shot for shot exactly the same, just different characters.
Also, though, I want to add that I don't think this is like a Stephen King ripoff or anything. I'm just saying that it's similar, and you can definitely feel influence from Stephen King, and that makes sense. Like, I think most modern horror writers take inspiration from Stephen King, since he is, I won't say the best, but he's the most prolific writer of our time, probably.
Yeah, I was
he's
trying
written a
to
lot of
find...
books, so and most people have read his books, so.
I was trying to find when the Black Phone was published. I think I found it now, actually.
Yeah.
It was published in 2004, so it's almost 20 years old by now.
Really?
Yeah, originally published in the Third Alternative number 39 in 2004. Because I think this is one of his short story compilations? That's not the word. You know what I mean, though.
Like collections? Yeah.
Collections, thank you.
Yeah.
Because he has done a few of those.
Yeah, I know he's written a lot of
know.
short stories.
Yeah.
I've only read, the only Joe Hill stuff I've read are the two books he got famous for. What's it called? The Heart-Shaped Box and Horns.
Horns, yeah. I've read Horns. I liked it.
Oh yeah. I love both books.
I haven't read Heart-Shaped Box yet.
Once again, there's a lot of, Stephen King influence there, but like I said,
of
it
course.
makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people post Stephen King that are writers now will be influenced by him because he has literally taken over the genre of horror writing.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't not be influenced by it.
Yeah, and then when Stephen King is literally your dad, yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna be influenced. Whoa. His full name is Joseph Hillström King.
Is it because he married
a Swedish mother? Oh, maybe he took his wife's second or last name as well.
I'm not entirely sure.
No, his first spouse was Leonora King. What?
Personal life. Well, she probably took his name.
Oh, yeah.
Because he has King.
He married a woman with the same last name.
His pen name is Joe Hill.
Right, based on Hillström. But I'm just, where did Hillström come from?
Maybe it is his mother. I don't know.
His mother is Tabitha King. Maybe she was called Hillström at first.
Yeah.
Nope. Her maiden name was Spruce.
Where the fuck did we...
Where does Hillström come from?
We'll have to look that up, because that's...
Yeah.
That's weird.
Anyway. Yeah. But let's talk about that quickly before we go into some details here, because we've hit the 30-minute mark.
Yes, I'm itching to talk about certain details.
Yes, but I just want to say that before we give our spoiler-free rating. Why I feel like some details might be left out, and why I think the middle of the movie feels a little dragged out, is because it's based on a short story.
Yes, they probably had to add some fodder to kind of stretch it out.
Yeah.
Or even make certain happenings just much longer to make the movie a plausible length.
Yeah, and I can see why all the characters have very clear like motivations and personalities, because it's a story told in a lot less time than like a full novel.
Yeah,
which in some cases makes it better for a movie script, but yeah, then you have to pad out some of the stuff, and it can feel a little like on the nose.
Yeah.
Which there's a little bit of that in this, but not to where it becomes bad. But like you said, you thought there was something, that little detail, something missing, and I think that might be it.
Yeah, because if some characters and some things just kind of, it happens so fast that you're like, yeah, sure, it happened, we know that, but there should be more to it.
Exactly. And I think that stems from
the side characters and their plots and their point in the movie could have been slightly fleshed out.
Yeah, and they really only exist to inform Finney's character towards the end. Yeah.
We do have two of the characters being introduced slightly more.
Oh yeah.
But it's such a tiny detail that they just add that detail later on to make you go, oh, it is that person.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, they could have added a minute more of, I don't know, the baseball game at the beginning, even though that's a stupid thing to add to, but...
No, I think that one... No, I think the baseball game and the introduction of the Bruce character, I think that's a perfect example of how like the visual storytelling worked.
Yeah, I guess.
And how the script works, I think, at least. If anything, I think the character, I don't remember the name, the kid, the heavy metal kid,
the bandana kid.
No, the heavy metal kid. Who says, "You're gonna fucking die. Today's your day, motherfucker."
Oh, right. The scary one.
Yeah, we only really see him in a flashback. Yeah,
I think that was Vance.
Yeah. That's maybe where we would have needed some information before he's introduced, or earlier in the movie. But yeah, once again, that's the short story influence there.
Yes.
Yeah, but I would say overall, it's an extremely well-made movie. Especially for a subject matter like this, like we said in the beginning, that could have been just a C-grade trash fire like jump scare movie.
Yeah.
We actually get a real movie with real characters, and that's genuinely scary.
Yes. To point out the scary, not only did I actually jump at the two jump scares that are in the movie, because there are only two technically.
Yeah.
There was at a couple of points I was almost holding my breath because I'm like, there's something's gonna happen.
I looked over at you, and you were literally covering your eyes, so it was obviously
I was covering
scary.
my mouth because I didn't want to. We were in a smaller theater. I didn't want to make noises because I didn't do it at one of the jump scares. Okay, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. So
the atmosphere is definitely, it is a horror movie, and it's it's not, like we said, we've recently had more of the popcorn jump scare movies.
Yeah.
Even though they've been good and have had like proper plots and stuff, the horror has always been more, at least in my opinion, more of the popcorn jump scares style. More this is more of a, you feel it in your chest, something's gonna happen, and it's just, it's not good. Like,
yeah.
It's actually freaking you out, sort of.
I don't know if this is a good comparison, but it's more The Shining than The Conjuring.
Yes. That is actually pretty good.
The Conjuring is well written, that's a jump scare movie,
Yes, because all the scares are more or less jumpy.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's I think that's it for our spoiler-free, mostly spoiler-free section. So, if you haven't watched the movie and you don't want anything spoiled, beware! Or from here on out, we will talk details.
Thank you for listening, I suppose.
Oh, yes, exactly. Thank you for listening.
Click off and come back later.
Yes. What? Yeah. Once again, we both highly recommend it. I
Oh
think,
yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
I fully agree with the Metascore, for example. It's a 65. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It can even be slightly higher. So
I might even go higher than that. But yeah, check it out, and then if you want to, come back and listen to the second half of this episode. But for now, spoilers. Beware, spoilers.
Spoilers. You have been warned.
You have been warned. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers.
I would like to point out the one big thing that is Joe Hill just stole from his father.
Oh yeah,
which is
okay.
The ability, the shining of Gwen.
Sure.
And her, their mother, obviously.
Yes, let's talk about the supernatural aspect of this movie.
It is straight up stolen from Stephen King's universe, where his characters have this magical ability they call the Shining.
It's very Shining-esque.
Yes.
And I also we talked a lot about, before we watched the movie, we had seen the trailers. We'd seen the trailers a long time ago.
Yes.
Like we said, I think this movie was delayed. It feels like.
It was filmed during the pandemic. I can tell you that much. Based on the behind the scenes footage.
Yeah. And I think in the trailer they really wanted to focus on the supernatural aspect, like the black phone, like, ooh, how can he speak to the dead children? What is up? What's the deal with the phone? In the movie, the phone is not that important.
No. It's just an object to move things forward.
Yes, the phone is really just it symbolizes his his
it's how he connects to his spirituality, I suppose.
No,
or his
not even
ability, I guess.
Not even that. I think it's more just a physical manifestation in the movie of his what the fuck is it called? I want to say inner, but it's not inner. His emotions, his memories.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because all it really does is show us like glimpses of his past. Where he watched Vance basically kill a child over a pinball game. And we get some more information about Robin, his friend.
Yes.
And it's a way for him to like flash back to the first couple of kids, the paper boy who got snatched or grabbed, and Bruce, of course. But all the children then are really just aspects of his personality. Like, you got a killer arm, Bruce talks about, because they played baseball together. And he uses his killer arm later. And the same thing when he talks to Robin. It's because what little interaction we get between them, mainly in the school bathroom, is that Robin likes him for who he is, but he also acknowledges that he's too timid. He is too weak.
He needs to stand up for himself.
Stand up for himself, and that's what he does in the end, because he talks to the ghost of Robin. But it's not really talking to the ghost of Robin. He is just remembering Robin.
Yeah.
Robin. Remembering what he taught him when he was alive.
Yeah, I didn't actually...
In a horror movie way,
I didn't think of it that way. For me, it was the mystical thing that he's actually talking to dead people. But no, it makes sense what you're saying. He's just using them as parts of himself. Well, to realize parts of himself.
Yeah, he's using what he's learned through life and actually applying it to the situation.
Yeah, them telling him what to do and where they hid stuff is just, if you think about it, you reacted to that thing, just try it. It's not gonna hurt you.
Yeah, the only detail, where I guess that logic kind of breaks is when he literally gets the combination to the lock on the door, on the screen door.
Yeah.
But that could have been...
He could have seen that and just gone, I need to remember these numbers. Why else would someone write them down? Exactly,
because children had tried to escape before. The grabber talks about that some of the children were more naughty than the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it makes sense in the trailer that they really play up the supernatural aspect,
of course,
because that's horror movie stuff. What is the black phone?
That sells.
And I mean, the big thing which kept us talking about the movie before we saw it was specifically the scene where the grabber is down in the basement and he screams, "Hang up the phone!"
Yeah.
And we were like, why is the phone there if he's so scared of it?
We discussed it. Why does he just take it away?
Yeah. But in the movie, that scene is not in the movie.
Oh, no, that's true. I mean, he does tell him, why are you talking on the phone? It doesn't work.
But to the grabber, it's just a phone. Because in reality, it's just a phone.
Yeah.
But for Finn, it's a way to handle the situation. Which, again, why I don't think he freaks out immediately is because it's sort of like a comforter for him, if that makes any sense. It's some way for him to kind of disassociate, if I'm going to be armchair psychologist here.
I already started, so it's fine.
Yeah, sure, yeah. But it's also a way for us to get more character development, even though he's just stuck in one room talking to himself.
Yeah. You know what? In real life now, me personally, if I get stuck at at work with something I have to do and I don't know how to solve it, I call my colleague, and in Swedish we call it bollplank. You call someone to discuss the subject, you just say it out loud, they don't even have to come with a suggestion, it's just you saying it out loud helps. I guess this is what he does. He calls a friend just to talk about it, which makes him realize, oh, this is what I have to do. Yeah,
I've been in similar situations where you're basically you're not even talking to yourself, you're just mumbling. You're like thinking out loud, and that's basically what I'm doing with the phone.
But the phone is a it helps. It's I don't know, it's a crutch sort of.
Exactly, yeah, it helps. But then of course there is the other sort of supernatural aspect where Gwen, she dreams about the children who are kidnapped.
Sometimes my dreams come true.
Yes, and she has actually dreamt about details that were never given to the public by the cops, the black balloons.
Yeah, specifically.
And yeah, that is never explored because once again, it's not what the movie's about.
No,
but also, it feels like it's just like, oh, we're not going to discuss the fact that she dreams about reality and can see the future,
which is where the Shining bit feels extra prevalent. Because they say that your mother had it, which drove her mad eventually, because she didn't understand
she killed
it.
Herself.
Yeah. She didn't understand it. People didn't understand her, and they didn't believe her, so obviously it drove her mad, and she killed herself.
Yeah. And to them, then, it just looked like she was schizophrenic.
Yes.
But since Gwen has the same things, and it actually, she literally finds the house. Yeah. There's 2 houses, but she finds one of the houses.
Yeah, which is the one she's seen in her dreams. She sees the one where they're buried, because I suppose that's more of...
Because she has a connection to the dead, not the living.
Yes,
that's why
exactly.
She dreams of her brother, but she sees the house where the dead children are. Yeah. And that's why she sees the dead children when she's out biking.
Yeah, and Finney also talks to the dead children.
Yeah, they have a connection to the dead, which, just, to draw quick connections there again, they have a connection to the dead because their mother recently, they talk about it happened, I don't know if they say specifically, but I got the feeling it was 3 years ago.
Yeah,
they were old enough to remember
understand it.
Yeah, but they
remember it, yeah.
But they're still young enough, to be children, to react to it like children would,
Yeah. It doesn't affect them completely, because as an adult you would probably be like their father, become a drunk and
because
abusive.
You've known your mother for much longer. They'd only known her for 8 to 10 years, and children have a habit of
children heal faster.
Yeah, they heal faster. Exactly. As horrible as that sounds, you shouldn't heal from your mother killing herself when you're a child. But you know what?
It's also good that you do, because you need to be able to move on with your life.
Exactly, which the father cannot.
No, and specifically, he has a grudge with Gwen because of it, because she reminds him so much of their mother.
Yeah, and he does, and when he finds out that the police have talked, because the police are very understanding. They're like, oh, so you had supernatural dreams about the house and the murderer. How about you help us in our investigation, little 12-year-old girl?
I mean, she had told a friend or something that...
Yeah, the sister of Bruce, the first kid who gets...
Yeah, I dreamt about him, and I dreamt about the black balloons.
Yeah.
Something, and then, the friend told someone, and they called the police, and like...
Yeah,
How did you know about the black balloons?
Yeah, I guess they're questioning her first and foremost because they're thinking she might be involved.
Yes,
but
or
then
she
they realize,
was
no, she
there
actually dreamt about it. Okay, and we in that scene also see that she's very defensive, like when it comes to talk about her ability, because she doesn't want to talk about it because her father has told her.
Yeah, she's been conditioned to not talk about it, to not acknowledge the magical ability she has.
Exactly. Because then when he finds out that the cops talked to her and she talked about her dreams and, how they become reality, that's when we get the child
scene.
beating scene, the belt scene, yeah. Which was very, very disturbing because it was very long.
Luckily,
and
they were that area where the hitting actually happened was hidden below the counter, yes, so we didn't see that.
It wasn't visually explicit. Yeah, I don't think we actually see him hit her, but we hear it. Obviously,
we see her reaction to it. We see his reaction to it.
Yeah, and it goes on for a while. And,
yeah,
it really, and once again, it perfectly cements. A hatred for the father character, but then before that and after that, you in a weird way understand him.
Oh yes, no, I completely understand why he does that. He is so afraid that Gwen is going to turn out just like her mother and kill herself.
Yeah, exactly. Which is we're not excusing his behavior, but
no, God no,
understand his behavior.
Yes. Yeah. In the setting and everything, it makes sense. We understand it, but yeah, we do not. It's not a good thing.
Condone it at all.
At all.
You shouldn't beat anyone, but you definitely shouldn't beat children.
Yes. No. It also, though, it hammers home her character as well, because she has, in one scene at least, she is physically defending her brother.
Yes.
In a fight.
Yes. Because once again, he is more passive and she is more, forwards.
Yeah, forwards. That's the word.
Outgoing, yeah.
She's also, I guess, supposed more used to the physical violence because she is the one who often gets it more than Finney. He probably doesn't get it because he's just quiet. He doesn't make his father upset in the same way. Exactly.
I got that feeling too, that because of her personality and because of her dream stuff, she's the one who probably gets beat more than Finney does. Yeah.
Which is also why every Friday she decides to sleep at her friend's.
Yeah, and
because he drinks more on Fridays probably, and he's gonna get mad at her for no reason probably.
Yeah.
So Finney takes care of their dad.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all those little details that makes this movie makes it stand out from other movies like
yes,
like we said, this could easily have been a cheapo garbage B-grade horror movie. This could have been like another like Saw rip, not specifically Saw, but you know what I mean, like a murderer who keeps children in a basement. It could have just been like a nasty exploitative movie, but it isn't.
It's also could have been just
something.
It could have just been like 10 minutes of this is Finney, this is his family, and now he's grabbed.
Yeah, exactly.
We get so much more. We get even. I just realized this now that we're talking about the dad. He is very complex. The fact that he realizes during that Friday afternoon when Gwen is at her friend's, I mean, it takes a few hours, sure, but he does call and he's like, your brother hasn't come home yet. He cares. He's not just blind drunk already.
Oh, yeah. He cares about his children. He's just expressing it in a
very bad way.
Yeah.
Because he obviously doesn't know how to control his own emotions yet, but he is very aware of the fact that, shit, my kid I know where Gwen is. I know she goes away on Fridays.
Yeah.
I don't know where my other kid is. I don't know where Finney is.
Yeah.
And he reacts instead of, like in other movies probably, he would have been too drunk, he would have fallen asleep, and maybe react in the morning.
Yeah, and Gwen comes home and like, where's Finney, Daddy?
Exactly, yeah. And he's like, well, what do you mean? But no.
Well, I don't care. Stupid kid.
He does care.
No, he
and
cares.
It's proven later as well when Gwen... she's like, Daddy, I need to talk to you, and you have to promise to not get mad.
Yeah.
And she tells him the fact that she has had a dream that she thinks can help find Finney. And he's like, fine. You know what? Yes. I will... what's it called? I will do it this time. I will indulge you?
Huh?
Yeah, indulge you, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And they actually go out and they drive around to see if she can find what she dreamt of.
Yeah. And that's why the very last scene in the movie is him saying, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. Which, once again, you might would want to have a little more interaction between him and the children. And especially in the end, because it literally ends with just them looking at him and him saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
But that
feels just a smidge shortchanged. But it works. It definitely works.
It's the beginning of him changing his way, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if he had already started too much, I don't know if it had the same impact. This is the moment he's like, oh shit, I really need to make my amends. I need to start being a better father for my children. I need to listen to my children because they're actually telling me important things.
Yeah.
Or the truth, I suppose.
Which once again goes back to that it's not just a 70s nostalgia movie because it takes place in the 70s. It is written like a 70s horror movie, like Don't Look Now or The Exorcist, where like the characters are important, and this is a movie about a broken family.
Yeah.
It's not just ditzy college kids going to get murdered in a cabin. No, it's about characters. It's about something.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that when we talked about Ghostland and Martyrs a while back. Check out our episode. And we talked about Mark Kermode's review of Martyrs back in 2009, and he said that for all the horrific stuff, all the disgusting like violence and torture and inhuman behavior in that movie, it's fine because it's about something. It's not just about violence. It's not just about beating a woman and skinning her.
Exactly. It's not just violence for violence sake. It's actually pointing towards something. It's moving towards substance. A point. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where this movie stands out from a lot of modern horror movies. Like, but we talked about this. Modern horror has definitely, to me, a little bit elevated.
Sure.
Yeah, we don't use that word, but still, elevated
we
horror.
Do a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, that's kind of
don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, because this is more in line with movies like Hereditary or I don't know what's the latest A24 horror movie. I don't even remember. They make so many. But I mean,
I'm just trying to think of ones we've seen recently. I was like, what, Lamb?
Yeah, Lamb is not a bad, or it's not a good example though, because that was not a great movie. But you know, yeah, you know what I mean. It's
yes,
it's part of this wave of new quality, like indie or smaller budgeted horror movies.
Yeah, like X is a good example.
Exactly, X. Yes, X is a perfect example. I actually thought about X because that's also very much, you know, a 70s nostalgia kind of movie.
Yes. But it has...
more specifically, influenced by 70s horror. Well, I think this is more influenced by 70s cinema.
Yes, just adding horror to it.
Exactly.
Compared to other horror movies we talked about this year, Scream, what number were we on? 5?
5, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really like that movie.
But it's a modern movie where, you know, we get that horrible, what was the word? It was a sequel in a way, but it was also a
legacy sequel.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's two different kinds of horror these days. You have the modern kind, where it's the legacy sequel, or whatever. And you have the 70s trope, which can be more of an original, but they bring it back to the 70s to kind of have that more originality, because they're not based on anything that's happening right now, or things that we've already seen 100 times. They're not banking on names, they're just doing something original, more or less.
Yeah, they're actually trying to make a good movie.
Yeah. Well, we've only talked about, like, one character in this movie now. We talked about the father, which is, he's a big character. Well, he's not the main.
We talked about the grabber, we talked about Finn.
But we didn't talk much about Gwen, though.
Well, let's talk about Gwen. What do you want to say?
That's the thing, though. I can't really think of anything to talk about with her. I guess it's because she's the youngest one.
Yeah.
She's just a child, to be honest. Which, I mean, she's trying to... There's one aspect of her that I kind of like, and I hate at the same time. The whole thing that she doesn't understand her dreams. She doesn't understand where it comes from, so she's talking to Jesus about it.
Yeah, well, that I think that makes perfect sense for
but I hate
a young
it.
Child. Why do you hate it? What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't like the fact that she believes that Jesus could be the one giving her these things. But she's also questioning it at one point, because why do you show me this stuff if you're not going to help me?
Yeah, and then maybe Jesus doesn't even exist.
Exactly.
But then she has a dream literally telling her where Finney is, and she's like, I'm sorry, Jesus.
Thank you so much.
Which, once again, which is a wonderful implementation of comedy in a very, very dark movie.
Oh, yes.
Once again, that's not just a 70s trope, that's just a trope of good writing, where you can actually write levity into a dark movie. Yeah.
And they do it in a good way.
Yeah, but it's also more indicative of the 70s, wave of cinema. I love that aspect. And I love the fact that they didn't shy away from, like, more people... I don't know if specifically because there's more people in America now, but I think more people were openly Christian and religious back then. It wasn't as, atheism wasn't as big as it is nowadays. And, it's fine that your character's Christian, because sometimes that could almost be like written like, she's just a dumb kid. She believes in God. But no, it's just a way to inform us about her character. Of course you believe in Jesus. She was probably told, they go to church. Her mother probably talked a lot about Jesus because she was crazy.
Yeah.
It makes sense that she would believe in God and believe in Jesus.
It is a common way to, when you have sort of these otherworldly experiences, you explain it by going, well, it's probably God. Like, what else could do this to me?
Exactly. So
that scene though, where she goes, "Thank you, Jesus, so much," or whatever. Well, that scene is two things in it. I think are very Stephen King.
Oh yeah,
the yellow raincoat in the rain thing.
Yeah, that is once again very it. Yeah, very it.
Also, I feel like the fact that she runs into the boys, the dead boys. That's also from something, but I can't. Really think of which one it is.
I'd say that's a Scott Derrickson thing. He likes, to have
maybe that's what I'm thinking of,
creepy children standing in a row. That's a lot of the Sinister movies. I know he only made the first one, but I think he was involved in the second one, like a producer or something. There's a lot of, children in creepy dead people makeup standing in the rain or standing in an attic, He likes that visual, it feels like.
Yeah, maybe that was what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Or just in general...
There's one more detail that he's straight up taken from his own works. The kid who's floating in air, bent over backwards and like broken.
Yeah.
They do the same thing in Sinister.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah.
I don't think if it's like ass cut up, but I remember basically the same position. Just floating in air, being creepy.
Yeah. And I mean, we haven't actually we talked a lot about Sinister. I think it's because it's more akin to this movie, but he actually, of course, made one of my favorite modern horror movies, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
I love that movie so much, and I think we've said that before.
Oh yes, we have. Probably when we talked about Doctor Strange, because he was tangentially involved in that. The new Doctor Strange, of course, made the first Doctor Strange, but Yeah,
actually, we might have talked about it too when we talked about Hellraiser Inferno.
Right, because he wrote and directed Hellraiser Inferno.
Yeah.
You should check out. Oh, we haven't plugged our Patreon yet, but yeah, you should check out our Patreon where we talk about Scott Derrickson's first movie, Hellraiser Inferno. Yeah, well, that just goes to show, and we talk about more about it in that episode. Yeah, once again, he writes a lot of, his character work is very good, even in cheap thrills movies like Hellraiser Inferno. And that shows when he has something like The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is basically a courtroom drama, but he waves that into an exorcism horror movie.
Yeah.
It's,
I don't remember. Is that actually based on something?
Well, it's based on a real case.
Right, I think maybe his best writing is when he gets to base it on someone else's, like, starting idea, or at least he has something to base it off of. Because Hellraiser Inferno isn't very, very well written. And the story isn't very good, at least.
But the characters are, I think.
The characters are, but the story is just, whatever.
Yeah, and that's the case with most of his movies, if we're going to critique his writing. The story in Sinister is but the characters are good. Yes,
but the story in Exorcism of Emily Rose is really good, but it's based on something, so he has a lot to go on.
Exactly.
To make it easier on himself. Same with then The Black Phone, because he has this short story to go on.
Yeah.
It helps him.
Yeah, and then he had to. What he does is basically expand the characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what he's good at. And that's why his movies are good, because he doesn't just want to scare you, he wants to make a good movie as well.
Yeah.
And part of that is scaring you, but part of it is also convincing you that these are real characters, inhabiting a real world, yeah.
And like you said, having the ability to, even though it's a horrible thing that's happening, it's a horrible story, you are able to, like, weave in sort of levity and comedic relief without making it tacky or stand out too much.
Yeah.
Because we have Gwen's whole Jesus thing, but we also have the character of Max, which we find out later is the Grabber's brother.
Oh, yeah. That's the one aspect of the movie that really felt like, right, this is based on a book, in this case, a short story, but because books have they have the tendency of adding characters and a lot of, exposition stuff. Which,
even though we didn't get too much exposition, he just points at a map going, it's somewhere around here.
Yeah, sure. But it's a typical thing that you add in a book, to have, like, the wacky side character.
Yes.
Which does not always work. Yeah, it was funny, and it's because I'm a fan of the actor James Ransone or Ranson. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but yeah, I love him, and he's so good, he's basically in 3 scenes, if even, maybe even just 2 scenes, but he's awesome as the Grabber's, like, coked up brother.
I love the aspect of him, like, he's completely unaware of what's happening.
Yeah, he's living in the house,
but he is researching it.
Yeah, which is, I would love to read the short story to see if he has more to do in that, just to see, like, why would the Grabber allow his brother to just move in to sleep on his couch while he's murdering children? And
in
then,
the same basement.
Yeah, and why doesn't he try to, like, stop his brother from researching it? Because he literally finds out about it. He figures it out in a coke binge, and then the Grabber has to kill his brother. I would like to see if there is if there's a reason for that. Yeah, if there's more to it in the short story. Because he's just like,
I just love the fact that he was more or less right. He literally had the cops in the house. They were right there.
Yeah.
But because of that scene, we go, maybe it's not that house. Maybe it is nothing to do with that. Maybe that's just a weird thing. But then you get the connection to, oh my god, he was right there. They were right there. They were so close, and then they walked away.
Yeah.
I liked that, like, oh my god moment. And then, of course, it's kind of funny to have him go down the stairs and, oh, what the fuck has my brother done?
And once again, when an outside ass, something from the outside comes into that basement, Finney breaks down. Like, he's so strong, he's preparing to kill the grabber. But then as soon as what's he called? Max. He's like, oh, please help me, call my parents, call the cops, something,
Yeah.
Because
he's not all on his own anymore. He doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah. So he goes back to
trapped with his own thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's once again good writing. Consistent writing. It's just that I don't really see the point of the character in the movie.
I just thought it was funny, and it didn't feel like he was sticking out too much. It made sense to have the loony kind of out of work person emerging themselves too much in the local mystery, I suppose.
Yeah, but the fact that he actually lives in the house and that he figures it out just to be killed is what I don't understand.
No, that's true.
It's fun the first time. It's like, oh yeah, come in. I've been working at this for months. Like, I think he lives in this. That should have been that scene. Him. But then he comes back and he actually lives in the house where it happens. He's like, what? Why? So that's why I would like to read the short story to see if there's a point to it in the book or the short story.
There's one point in the movie that I don't like at all, because I feel like it should have been done differently, but if they had done it the way I want it to be done, it would have ruined the rest of the movie. It's the point where Finney actually makes it out.
Oh.
Because when he gets out, he just runs quietly, basically until the grabber is too close, and then he starts screaming. If he had started screaming before that, and just kept screaming, people would have come out, and he would have been saved. But then again, we would have lost like 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it's
So, I would have preferred if he didn't get that far away from the house.
But
it just seems weird. Like, why wouldn't you start screaming earlier so that people would actually come and help you?
Because he also doesn't want to wake up the grabber. If he starts screaming right as he exits the house, the grabber's going to wake up.
Yeah, but he waits until he's like 3 houses down.
Yeah.
Because the grabber drives the car. He's not just running after him. So he's obviously gone far enough for him to feel like, I need to take the car to get him back. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to.
Well, that's because he doesn't know how far the kid got.
I suppose.
Finney. Yeah. It's one of those scenes it's just there for tension.
Yes.
Like, oh my god, is he actually going to get away? And like in a lesser movie... excuse me.
He might have?
What?
He might have gotten away. In a lesser movie, he would have been grabbed, like, right by the door, like, where do you think you're going? Okay,
but here he actually leaves the house, so we're given, like, this false sense of security, sort of like, oh, shit, he got away! And then, no, he didn't. Yeah, it's a little weird, but I didn't mind it. I didn't mind that scene. And it also shows, because before that, of course, the grabber is a bad person. He kidnaps children, but we haven't really seen him be that, aggressive or, other than kidnapping
he hasn't
children.
Hurt Finney at all.
Yeah, and he talks a lot about, I'm not going to hurt you. It's, you're fine. You're going to be fine. But in that scene, no. That's when his, the mask, so to speak, is lifted. Because he puts a knife to his throat and he says, Make a noise, and I'll gut you and strangle you with your own entrails.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, okay, this is real. He's not just some goofy guy who like grabs children for fun. No, he's an insane murderer. Yeah.
We do also get a little bit of that when Finney talks on the phone with, I don't remember which one of the kids, but he's like, no, it's a game. Don't walk out the door, even though he leaves it open.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
wants you there so he can play the game. He won't touch you until you cross that line. And so you enter the next stage of what do you call it? Naughty boy or something?
Exactly. He only hurts the naughty boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's part of it,
Which is why he also kind of likes Finney, the grabber, I mean. He says that because you're different. Yeah. He's not playing the game. He's trying to, like, coax him into playing the game, I suppose, eventually. by being friendly.
Exactly.
Which is weird, because then you get those scenes where Ethan Hawke is sitting in the chair waiting for him upstairs.
Yeah,
and
falling
he looks
asleep.
but before he falls asleep, he looks so menacing and scary. I just...
Yeah.
Ugh.
Once again, that visual, because he sits there with the belt, harkening back to
knees wide
the father
apart,
with the belt,
The cardigan open, no shirt under, it just looks so fucking scary.
Yeah, he looks like an abusive parent.
Yeah. Just waiting for their kid to fuck up.
Once again, showing the the connection between the grabber's supposed childhood and how Finney is how Finney's childhood is. Like there are similarities. That meme, we're not so different, you and I. It's that, but instead of saying it because it's hacky and cheesy, it's inferred. That in an unperfect world, or in a worse world, Finney might grow up to be, this disturbed person who kidnaps children,
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, layers, complexity, depth makes for more quality entertainment.
Yes.
Even in a simple story like this.
We even have... There's one like depth to the character of Finney that I was a bit confused of in the beginning. Because you have this relationship between him and Robin. Yeah. Robin is another boy in his school.
He's the badass.
Yeah, he's a bit of a badass.
He likes karate movies and beats the other kids up.
The bullies up. He only beats the bullies.
Exactly. The bullies come up to him like, you think you're tough? And then, no, I don't think so. I am. And he beats the bully, Beats him to a pulp. Literally. Once again, very, very 70s.
Very graphic.
Children were a lot more violent in the 70s.
In that sense. Physically, yes.
Yeah, in that sense. Yeah, exactly.
That was a very graphic fighting scene. I almost had to close my eyes for a moment.
Yeah. Because it's something, when he keeps beating him after he is unconscious and the blood is just...
And it's one thing seeing adults do that. You can kind of dismiss it because, it's a movie. But when you see kids do it, it's like, oh shit, this looks... This is weird.
And then he's just taping up his knuckles afterward.
Yeah.
Like, but his teeth were sharp.
Their relationship.
Yeah.
At one point, I was like, is this gonna be a unnecessary gay plot? That they're gonna point that Finney is in love with Robin somehow? But then we have the girl, Donna.
Yeah.
The kid in class that he's obviously actually falling for.
Yeah.
And that was just a weird detail. It's like, I don't know, are they gonna, for unnecessary reasons, put in a gay plot? Because there wouldn't have been a point to it.
That is your modern movie critic brain working.
Yes, probably.
Yeah, because that's we've talked about that briefly before. Like, anytime two male characters in a movie or in a TV show shows any sort of affection towards each other, everyone just immediately starts talking about homoerotic undertones. Like, no, you know what? Two men or two boys can just be friends. You know that, right?
I don't say that every time, though. I do.
I know.
But this, I don't know, it was something in how Finney acted towards him. It was like, oh my god, is he nervous because he has a crush?
Well, I honestly, I think he's a bit nervous because, obviously, he's very happy that Robin is his friend, because that means he doesn't have to worry too much about bullies. Like, that's obviously, when he smiles towards the bullies, like, yeah, I got Robin on my side. Like, which is, that's bullshit. That's what you call it? Like, he's being cocky even though he shouldn't be, because he's not the one.
He's like a troll, He's safe behind the keyboard. But
Exactly. Which is, once again, layers. He's not all good. He's a little bit of a coward, which, it's not a good thing to be,
No.
I mean,
I know what you mean.
Extent, yeah. But then also, because they're in that bathroom as he's taping up his bloody knuckles, he might be a little intimidated, because what happens if Robin gets angry with him one day?
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's a little. I might be reading too much into it, but there's a little bit of that as well. Like, yeah, it's good to have this like violent maniac on my side, but what happens if he gets angry with me?
Yeah, what if I do something wrong? But I mean, they also have the whole Finney's helping Robin with his homework because he's failing classes, and Finney's obviously he's a smart kid. He knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
So I guess they have a symbiotic relationship in that sense.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just had a moment like, please don't throw in an unnecessary gay plot, because homosexuality is perfectly fine. I don't care, but it just felt like you don't need to add that here. We didn't even need to add the Donna character. We didn't need to have him have a girl he's falling for, except for to show that he got confident in the end.
Confidence in the end.
He changed. He was enough to, sure, I'll talk to you. I'll go up to you.
Yeah, he didn't shy away from fight. He didn't shy away from defending himself. He didn't just stay passive. He had an active role in escaping himself. And yeah, he found the courage to talk to the girl he likes.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, when they're teaming up for science class, he's like,
he can't speak to her.
Yeah, she sits next to him, and in the end, he sits down next to her.
Yeah.
It's once again, it's a movie about a child growing up, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
finding your strengths.
Yeah. It's also, once again, because it's a 70s movie, it's a very 70s trope that, of course, there's a girl he likes, but he's too shy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Nostalgia.
It's fine. It worked. I was just in the beginning, when it was just that scene in the bathroom, it's like, oh no. Don't do that unnecessary just because you want to be modern or something.
No.
But they didn't.
No.
So it's fine.
They didn't. So, I
think we're rounding it up here.
Yeah.
Just like simple addings. The cinematography was great, actually.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I did kind of not like the dream sequences being all in like fussy videotape
16mm style. Yeah.
Kind of weird, but it's fine because at the same time it's explaining that it is actually a dream. It's not a flashback. Exactly. It's not like
it's to set them apart. Yeah.
Yes, and it's fine. And the music was great.
Yes, sometimes it was just like noise, and I like noise, so it was awesome. Like, I think the first time, when he escapes, it's like they...
Yeah, because, it's supposed to give you, like, all worked up.
Yeah, you gotta get out of here. Yeah, it was, like... And you mentioned the cinematography. Yeah, of course, it's pretty, like... It's simple and effective, but then you have little flourishes. Like the fact when you have the, I think it's when, they realize Finney has been kidnapped, and you have that... flyover scene where you see all the cop cars in the street.
Yeah.
This is just one... I'm guessing it's a drone shot, because nowadays you can do that with a drone. Drone? Drone.
A drone.
They
do that. They do that a couple of times when you involve the entire community in trying to find the children.
Yeah.
They zoom out, giving you the big perspective, because it is a community thing. Everyone is involved.
Yeah.
And then when you have all the characters and it's individual, it's a close-up, because it's a visual. It's a great visual. Yeah.
Yeah, once again, like, every aspect of this movie is so, like, well put together.
Yeah.
It's like Mike Stoklasa said when they reviewed Don't Breathe. It's like classy trash.
Yeah,
because it's, sort of. Like we said, huh?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, because like we said, in the hands of a lesser filmmaking crew, this could have just been a garbage jump scare movie.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like, and that's what they talk about when they talk about Don't Breathe. Like, it's basically a sleazy 70s exploitation horror movie, but it's made by a guy who, appreciates that kind of cinema, so he made a good movie out of it. Do you remember Don't Breathe?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm just... where they break into the blind.
Yeah,
house.
I vividly remember the ending.
Oh, yeah.
When we find out who the blind guy really is.
Oh, yeah.
Still not too excited for the sequel.
No, it came and went. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Yeah. but this is similar. Like this is a kind of trashy premise, you know. Just a creepy guy in a mask kidnapping children. Yeah, this could have been straight up trash, but it was handled with care, so we got a good movie out of it. Classy trash.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
It does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I wish every horror movie was handled with such care and precision, because then I think every horror movie could be good. You know, it wouldn't have to be trash. It could actually be good. And Don't Breathe proves that you can take something that from the outset feels like it could be bad and turn it into something good.
Yeah. We've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, about horror movies. We had, before, I guess, the halfway point of 2020, we had a lot of trash when it comes to horror, just popcorn scares, just being really teenagers kind of thing. We're finally moving towards having more proper horror made again. And I'm really happy about that. This just hammers us in even more. We're getting more proper horror movies.
Yeah. I think we've had that for a while, but yeah.
Yeah. You know, we had a part in time where it's just trash. Just pure trash.
Yeah.
But yes, I think that's it.
That's it for this episode. So if you're still listening to this, sorry for all the spoilers, but I guess you've already seen the movie then. So thank you so much for listening. And be sure to check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene, where you will get extra episodes. You get to tell us what movies we talk about, which, you know, we need more of that. We need more people telling us what movies we talk about, because then we can talk more about classics, or maybe talk about something completely different, you know, and, you know...
something that we might never have ever experienced if we didn't get told by you guys to watch it.
Exactly. Or if you want to hear us, you know, trash something, just pick something bad and we'll trash it. You know? Yeah. Also, you get commentary tracks and the occasional video, even though I don't make a lot of videos anymore. But, you know, they're there. There are exclusive videos, so check it out. It's all just for $3 a month. But other than that, thank you so much for listening to us, and be sure to follow us on whatever platform you're listening to this, or if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, and we will see you in... Well, this is actually the last episode of the season, I think. Yes, we'll be back, I believe, in August? Yeah, we're taking a break now. Well, it's the end of June, so yeah, during July. We'll be back at the beginning of August to talk about Nope, right? Yes, that is the first movie we have planned. So this is a perfect time to check out our back catalog, where we have a lot of episodes for you to listen to. Yes. So yeah, until August, have a good one. Bye. Bye. The spoilerCast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is hosted by Tobias Vedén and Rebecca Vedén. Produced and directed by Tobias Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén and Laura Kinney. A huge shout out to all our patrons over on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Laura Kinney, Mom, and Dad.